boys going to Montreal, you have to bring your paperwork,
passport,
right?
like that. Right.
And we had a boy who came and he brought his birth certificate. I told the boys they could bring a birth certificate, but the boy didn't realize, and it was really my fault because I didn't check it before. But he brought a birth certificate, but it wasn't an American birth certificate. It was a birth certificate in a different country.
Right.
So they said we can't accept it.
Right.
So I'm sitting there on Thursday night at 9:00 at night, and in Montreal it is freezing cold. It's like 30 below zero.
I can
with
imagine.
a group of boys, and they're saying we're not letting you guys in.
Wow.
Because it's either all or nothing. What am I supposed to do? So it was a very tricky, very, very, very tricky situation, and we had to finally, Baruch Hashem, they allowed the boy in. We had to overnight his passport so that on the way back, they told me you'll get into Canada, but we're telling you if he doesn't have his passport, they're not going to let him back.
They're not going to let him. That's right.
Back in the United States. So we had to really had to get his passport. We had to get his passport really, really, really quick, and we did. Baruch Hashem, and we made it through. And we had some other cute stories where we were coming back from Montreal, and we try to plan it that when you go to the border, there's buses.
Right. So you guys provide.
So
buses
if we,
I wish I could do that.
I don't provide. I don't provide the bus. I have to charter a bus. I call Muncie Tours.
Right. So I wish our Perchet did that.
That's it. Well, we had to go all the way up to Montreal.
Yeah,
huh?
I mean, it's only 7 hours away.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a big job. I'm telling you, it's a big job. And Yiddy wanted to do it many times, and instead
it doesn't have enough probably participants.
Well, right? I encouraged him that they should do this the Mid-Atlantic one. Right. So it's a lot less pressure.
Right.
When you're taking a group of boys to the other side,
Canada,
of Canada like that. But on the way back, we always
parents are more worried about that.
For sure. And when I on the way back, we try to beat the Greyhound bus. It's like we always have a race, because if we get stuck behind the Greyhound bus, we could sit there for an hour. So one year, as we're driving down on the bus, and we're driving down the road, and we see that there's some charter buses,
right,
like traveling with us. So I told the bus driver we're going to get stuck. So bus drivers, there's a 2-lane highway, so they drove next to each other. So the buses couldn't pass us till we got to the border. So we would make it there before them. So.
Yeah. Anyways, somebody asked about Marine Park Perche. So if somebody's interested in opening one, you can contact Rabbi Peretz Levin.
Well, they can contact me too. I'll help anyone
or you
who wants
can
to start a branch.
Rabbi Ephraim Levy at his national Perche Agudas Yisrael of America office, 212-717 797. My mistake. 797 9000 extension what?
272.
Extension 272.
Now
I'll repeat it a few times during the show.
I just like to mention one thing. That anyone who wants to start a branch anywhere in the United States can call me, and I'll work with them to set up a new branch. The requisite is there must be, in this we have guidelines that were developed by Gedolei Yisrael. There has to be adult supervision, and there has to be a Moira Hayra for the branch.
How long does it take to open up a branch? What does it take?
What it takes is an adult who wants to take the achrayus of running it, and it has to be
a mechanech.
It doesn't have to be a mechanech. It does not have to be a mechanech. No,
a regular businessman could do it.
Anyone could do it. Any adult that's a thing, and then we do background checks so that he has to provide who his rov is and who he's working with. And there has to be a rov of the branch, kumpas and shilas, make sure the activities are appropriate.
I don't know if Rabbi Levin's going to mind me saying his cell phone number. Is he going to mind saying cell phone number?
Okay, so call me and I will speak to, I will forward them to.
Or text us again and we just try to pass it to Rabbi Levin. Okay, this is something that we can...
Okay, so you can text 347-927-8398. That's 347-927-8398. If you have a question for Rabbi Levy, and I'm sure you probably have a lot of questions, you can call 718-683-5858. You can speak to him live right now, and you can ask him your questions on your concern or your comment or your suggestion. because Rabbi Levi is looking for suggestions about Perche, right?
Right. No.
Always looking for suggestions.
You asked me for another story. You asked me for a story.
Yes.
So I could tell you a story. There was who joined our my Pirchei branch, and he was he was he liked it very much, and he came to our minyanim. We have in Pesach, we have a minyan for Shacharis also on Shabbos morning, and this bacher used to come and he used to lane for us, and he was doing really, really good. And he came to me after a few years and he said, "Okay, Rabbi Levi, I have to apologize. I can't come to your minyan anymore." So I asked him, "Why not? Why can't you come to my minyan?" He said, "Because now I'd like to daven at the Yeshiva Gedola in our neighborhood."
Wow.
So I said, "Wow." I said, I said, "You don't have to apologize for that." I said, "I'm very happy that this is where you're going." And today, this bacher is learning in that yeshiva.
In that
yeshiva, yes, in Yeshiva Gedola.
Wow, so that's unbelievable.
So,
Rabbi Meister?
yes, and he started off. He started off not a. Let's put it this way. He didn't think he was going to be. He would be a candidate to be learning in Yeshiva Gedola Pesach.
Wow,
because of Pirchei, that's a real Pirchei success story. Because of Pirchei,
I'm
he's
sure
here
there's
today.
so many
and there's plenty of stories like that. If you have Rabbi Levin here, he will tell you more. He will be able to tell you story after story. And I can tell you also boys who were heading unfortunately, in the wrong direction.
And they came to Pirchei,
and their Pirchei leaders guided them correctly. And today they're excellent.
Okay. Now that we discussed Pirchei, there's still, and we discussed Benois, and there is another program. Well, there's a few other programs, but there's another program that everybody talks about, Avos Ubanim. What can you tell us? What is Avos Ubanim?
Okay, that's a whole different topic, but I will explain it as best as I can. In the early 1980s, Rabbi Yoshua Silberman and a couple of the Pirchei leaders at that time approached Rabbi Silberman with a new program. Until then, as you remember, there used to be game nights on Motzei Shabbos.
Game nights, right? I remember
swimming on
Motzei,
and swimming on Motzei Shabbos and other activities. They approached Rabbi Silberman that they wanted to start a Motzei Shabbos learning program. Motzei Shabbos learning program, because they felt that at that time the boys were ready for it, and that started in the early 1980s. And Rabbi Silberman, I remember him asking me when I was living in Muncie at the time, if I wanted to start a Motzei Shabbos learning, and I had told him that we already have one, but it was not a father-son program. It was a learning program. Fathers did come, but it was basically boys got together on a Motzei Shabbos to learn for an hour, and there was a storyteller, and there was Nash afterwards.
So that's the learning program. That's how the learning program came apart.
That's how the Motzei Shabbos programming became the Motzei Shabbos learning program.
Became father and son.
No, it didn't become. Not yet. Now, there was a fellow in England by the name of I forget his name now. Who started. It'll come back to me.
Rabbi Bornstein?
Rabbi Hershkowitz, who wanted to do not a Motzei Shabbos program, but wanted to do a Purim learning program, which we know as Yeshivas Mordechai Tzaddik, and he was in Gateshead, and Rabbi Matzio Solomon Shlita was there in Gateshead, and he was there in the yeshiva. It was before he was in Lakewood.
So this is the start of Avos Ubanim.
And he asked him, he wanted to do this type of program, and Rabbi Matzio Solomon said that I want you to add to this program that any boy who comes with his father. See, he wanted to do just a learning program for kids. He said anyone who brings his father will get an extra raffle ticket.
Extra raffle ticket.
From that,
and did it happen? The extra raffle ticket.
Yeah. And from that was born the idea of a father-son program. And then Motzei Shabbos. Then they continued into Motzei Shabbos, which became Avos Ubanim, and they introduced it into Eretz Yisrael and other countries, and that became the Avos Ubanim. It's a separate organization, but many Pircheis are already either before Avos Ubanim started or after Avos Ubanim started, coordinate Avos Ubanim programs in their neighborhood, whether it's on Motzei Shabbos or whether it's on Chol Hamoed learning or what, like Yeshivas Cholamoid
Right, so
you have here in Brooklyn.
That's we're going to talk about that next.
Sure.
That's going to be maybe in 2 minutes. But more about Avos Abanim, I believe Avos Abanim. So my times Avos Abanim wasn't really around. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. It depends what your times is.
My times is 1993.
Yeah, 1993 was not called Avos Abanim. That was
not recognized yet.
It was called. It wasn't called that. 1998 was when Avos Abanim actually was started as an organization.
Actually,
the learning programs were there, and there were fathers coming to learn with their boys. But and some cities like where I am in Passaic, in the early 90s already, they started a father-son program. Before Avos Abanim even existed.
Is there any success stories in Avos Abanim?
I can't tell you because
you're not into.
I don't.
I want to tell you, as Avot Banim, Avot Banim is really some unbelievable program, and I participated with my kids, and it's a very unique time to share with your son, with a child in the school, in the shiva, and it depends where it's coming, and it's a great. It's by itself it's successful. It's really unbelievable success.
That is correct because it gives boys and their fathers a time to spend together.
And I tell you, you saw kids that the parents not coming. Sometimes it's very sad. Sometimes
today they want to change the name of Avos Abanim. They want to change it to Dor Lador, or in our neighborhood they changed it Toras Tapenu.
I know somebody told me he has a learning. It's called the Motzei Shabbos Learning Program.
Yeah, that's Shabbos Learning.
Okay, another question to Pirche. What happened to the Pirche Pesach trips?
So I'll tell you exactly what happened. I will tell you exactly what happened. What happened was, because I was involved in my local neighborhood, what happened was that when I was a kid, most fathers worked on Chol Hamoed. Right. They had to go to work on Chol Hamoed.
So we had to do the trips.
So Pirche filled the void and took the boys on trips. Baruch Hashem, today most fathers, even if
most parents do not work.
That's right, and becomes a family time. So what happens is there are Pirches that rent out amusement parks, rent out a place, which Kingsburg Amusement Parks rented out by two Pirches, Pirche of Muncie and Pirche of Lakewood, and instead of having a bus go, and the Pirche members get a discounted price. So instead, it changed with the times. Today, there's no need for Pirche to take boys by themselves because the parents will say, "Well, I have girls. What do I do with them? And what do I do with the rest of the family? So I'm going to send a boy on a trip, which is expensive, and then I have to figure out what to do with everybody else." So Pirche now provides.
Maybe Benos can do that.
Yeah, but that's the same thing with Benos. So Pirche now can provide a venue where it's rented out by Pirche, so it's done in a kosher knifin, and the arcades, all those things that are not appropriate get closed down, and the music that's played over the system is kosher music, and therefore Pirches can provide kosher programming for families as opposed to just children.
Okay, now we're talking about Chol Hamoed, since Nisa mentioned that Chol Hamoed trips. Now we're going to talk about what is Yeshivas Chol Hamoed.
Okay.
The Chol Hamoed learning program. I know. I remember I run over here, and some people actually call me in different areas. They call me down, believe it or not. I know I've been doing it for a while. I know Asfaser calls me down to Yeshiva Brooklyn.
That's right.
He calls me down to different areas. People call me down.
To do storytelling.
To run the program. I'm happy to do it. So, kids, if you want me to coordinate your program, you are definitely invited to let me know. So how did that program start?
Okay, so
Yeshivas Chol Hamoed.
Yes, Yeshivas Chol Hamoed. I will tell you. When I was in Muncie Pirche, we had a learning program on Hoshana Rabbah. We had just Hoshana Rabbah. We had something called Hoshana Rabbah learning. And then on Chol Hamoed Pesach, and the way we did it went on Chol Hamoed Pesach, we also had a learning program, and then we went roller skating afterwards. It was like a full day. It was a half-day trip. We learned in the morning for an hour, and then we went roller skating. when I moved to Passaic, I tried instituting that program. And for one reason or another, the roller skating part didn't always work out so well. But the learning program did work out, and I expanded it to every day of Chol Hamoed, not just one day like Hoshana Rabbah or one day Erev, the last days of Pesach, whatever it is. And I instituted a prize every day for every boy that came, and it was Baruch Hashem, a very successful program in my neighborhood in Passaic. And we were brainstorming. I was brainstorming with Rabbi Levin, Paretz Levin from Tarvadas, and
he's the one who opened up here.
I said, that's right. I was with him when we started it. I told him, I encouraged him. I said, Paretz, let's get this going in Brooklyn. And he opened up. We started off the first year with 2 or 3 locations, and Baruch Hashem, now it's expanded out all over New York City. We have about 12, 13 locations of Yeshivas Chol Hamoed, which is essentially a father-son learning program on every morning of Chol Hamoed for about an hour.
We have in other states as well, right? Not just New York.
Yes, sure.
We have in
New Jersey.
we have in New Jersey.
We have in Chicago. We have in Chicago. Cleveland, also. Detroit.
Wow.
All over the country.
I know her.
All over the country, these programs.
We're speaking to Rabbi Ephraim Levy, the National Director of Parshat Yisrael. You can text your questions to 347-927-8398. That's 347-927-8398. Or you can call 718-683-5858. Yeah, so talking about Yeshivas Chol Hamoed, I see we have discounts, right?
So the way it works here in New York City in Rabbi Levin's program is that they give out coupons to Chol Hamoed activities that are available in the New York area. The attractions that they come out with a Chol Hamoed guide, all the newspapers and the magazines come with a guide. Yeah. So those places, Rabbi Levin gets discounted coupons to boys who attend the Pirchei programs. In my neighborhood, I don't work with that. I work with I just buy prizes every day. Well, Pesach, I can't give out food because it's
so we buy
thing. And sukkahs have to eat in a sukkah. So I give like a door prize, like a little tchotchke that everybody gets every day for coming. And as they learn over the few days of Chol Hamoed,
because I know in my days they never had such a program.
Right? No, they didn't.
Yeshivas Chol Hamoed was not around. We used to go. I used to go to Coney Island all the time. You used to.
Yeah.
All right. 3 more minutes? How much?
2 minutes.
2 more minutes left.
Okay.
Wow.
So the time really flew by, right?
Yeah, I'm telling you, time always flies by. Anyways, we're going to end on time tonight, not like overtime like I usually do, because there's sometimes I always try to end on time, but unfortunately, anyways, time always flies by, as I always say. Anyways, Rabbi Ephraim Levy, do we have any other words do you want to say to children out there?
What I want to say is that every boy and every elementary age yeshiva bocher can gain from being part of Pirchei, whether it's in your neighborhood, whether it's through our national Chol Hamoed learning contest that we have, our Smother contest, our Siyum Mishnayos, which takes place a little bit after Pesach, our Kesem Mishnayos with boys.
I haven't been to that yet. I have to get to that.
You're coming this year. You're going to be there. I'm going to make sure you're there. Okay, it takes place in Kol Yaakov Hall, right here in Flatbush.
Okay, I'm going to try to get there.
And I encourage every boy. It is very important. Every boy should be connected with. And I didn't tell you this, but this is like hot off the press. But there's a Siyum Hashas coming. I mean, that everyone knows. That's not what's hot off the press.
What is off the press? Okay, no, don't say it on the air because we don't want everybody to know.
Yeah, we do want everyone to know.
You do?
The Siyum Hashas committee is going to be running a program specifically for children, and just watch for details.
Can I join?
Children. They're right for adults too. So
right.
The Siyum Hashas is taking place exactly a year from January 1st. The Siyum Hashas, and there's going to be exciting programming for kids, and encourage everyone to be a part of Pirchei. As I say, Pirchei, be a part of it.
Right. Okay. Anyways, I asked my questions before, and I'm going to repeat the questions. Parsha riddle number 1, it says Yaakov expired. He died, and the Rabbanim say that Yaakov did not die, yet Yaakov said he was going to die to his children. Question number 2, Yosef told his brother, don't be afraid, am I like Hashem? Yosef should have said, don't be afraid, I won't harm you. Why does he say, don't be afraid, I'm like Hashem? If you know the answer, text it to me at 347-927-3297. Answer will be next week. Sponsorship is available. You can advertise with me. This is Lil Shishi. This is not Lil Shishi. This is the Kishroni Hour. I'm so confused already. I think I overdrank tonight. It is Lil Shishi. There we go. It is Lil Shishi, but not with your liquor. This has been the Kishroni Hour. I'm Moshe Grunfeld, Rabbi Ephraim Levy next to me. Again, you can call him at 212-797-9000, extension 272. Have a great Shabbos, everybody. See you next week. Be'ezras Hashem.
This is jrootradio.com. Anywhere, anytime, for everyone. This is jrootradio.com.